Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, he has a chapter within his Sahih that's titled Bab ma ja'a fi sifat al-jannah wa annaha makhluqa. The chapter of that which has been used to describe al-Jannah, has been used to describe paradise, and the fact that it's already created. And al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, he wants to make a point here that, when it comes to Jannah, it's not like you're leaving the lights on in a house or you're wasting electricity or wasting power here. Jannah has been around for a very, very long time, and so has hellfire. And in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, and al-Bukhari, under this chapter, the subheading, he mentions what the Prophet ﷺ said, قَالَ اللَّهُ أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحِينَ مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. That Allah has already said, I have prepared for my pious servants things which have never been seen by any eye or heard by any ear or even occurred to any imagination. فَقْرَأُوا إِن شِئْتُمْ, and the Prophet ﷺ said, read if you will, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Sajdah that no soul knows what is kept hidden for them of joy as a reward for that which they used to do. So the point that's being made here, which is a very powerful point, is that before we were even created, before jinn were created, before human beings were created, before a large segment of the angels were created. Allahu a'lam how many of them were created before Jannah and Nar. But before any of that, there was already a paradise and a hellfire. Meaning Allah is not promising you something that doesn't exist. Allah is not telling you that when it's all over, I'm going to make you this amazing Jannah, I'm going to make you this amazing garden. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it's already there. And al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala, under this chapter, he puts all of these ahadith where the Prophet ﷺ makes a reference to Jannah already being there. And this brings an amazing amount of comfort to the believer. So when the Prophet ﷺ lost his child Ibrahim, one of the ahadith that's in there is that the Prophet ﷺ said, he now has a wet nurse in Jannah. Subhanallah, it's already happened, it's already occurred. Ja'far radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he lost his arms, was already given a pair of wings in Jannah. Amr ibn al-Jamuh radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who had a limp and died in the battle of Badr, the Prophet ﷺ said, well, now he's walking in Jannah and he has no limp in his leg. So these things offer us an incredible amount of comfort, and they allow us to interact with Jannah in a certain way. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also alludes to this in Surah Maryam. Allah says, and this is a beautiful ayah, جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ الَّتِي وَعْدَ الرَّحْمَنُ عِبَادَهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. That there are gardens of perpetual residence, eternal gardens, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, and He uses His name, the most merciful, here to show you that this is a personal promise. It's a promise from the most merciful to His servant bil-ghayb. And bil-ghayb here means the unseen, and it can mean two things. Either what Allah is telling us is that these gardens are prepared in the unseen, meaning they're already there, you just can't see them. Or ibadahu bil-ghayb means those who worship Allah while not being seen, meaning those that are calling upon Allah and asking Him for Jannah when no one else is seeing them. Then Allah ends off this ayah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّهُ كَانَ وَعْدُهُ مَأْتِيًّا. That verily His promise has ever been coming. And so this is beautiful here, because Allah just mentions here that He's already promised you personally, the most merciful has promised His servant personally, that there is a garden that is waiting for him. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses a terminology to describe Jannah that He doesn't use in other places in the Quran. Usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say that Jannah is maf'ula, that the promise of Jannah, it's happening, it's in the works. But ma'tiya means that it's already out for delivery. Ma'tiya means it's actually coming towards you. SubhanAllah, the believer is moving closer to his Jannah every single day, which is why he doesn't grieve over this world, because he's going closer to his Jannah. Jannah is already out for delivery. And I want you to think about how powerful that usage is. I mean, SubhanAllah, it's like when you see a package, you've placed an order, how comfortable do you feel when you're following it on FedEx or UPS or whatever you're using and it says out for delivery? There's a certain level of anticipation. Allah uses that for Jannah, that it's already out for delivery and it's on its way to you. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he taught us to interact with paradise and hellfire, recognizing that they're already there. And he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-jannatu aqrabu ila ahadikum min shiraki na'lihi wan-naru mithla dhalik. That paradise is as close to you as your shoestrings. It's as close to you as your sandals. Subhanallah. You can just reach and touch it. وَالنَّارُ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. And hellfire is equally as close. And some of the ulama, they said that the reason why the Prophet ﷺ used the shoes or the shoestrings or the sandal strap to describe that is because death, your grave is under your feet. And you will experience some of Jannah or some of Nar, depending on who you are, as soon as you go into your grave. Another very powerful hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned to us, he mentioned to us, alayhi salatu wassalam, that Allah has already created a home in paradise for you, and Allah has already created a home in hellfire for you. Meaning right now in Jannah, as we speak, there is a palace with your name on it. And it's simply waiting to be occupied. And on the other hand, there's a home, a chamber in hellfire that has your name on it. And the Prophet ﷺ says, when you occupy that home in paradise, then the one in hellfire is done away with. Because once you go to paradise, you never come out. Once you go to Jannah, you never come out. So once you occupy that home, then the one in hellfire is done away with. However, if you were to occupy the one in hellfire eternally, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. If you were to do that, then your home in paradise would also be done away with, and it would be given to one of the other residents of paradise, and it would be a means of inheritance for them. But just think about the incredible amount of motivation, as you're going through the hard times in life, recognizing that, hey, there's already a palace in paradise that's waiting for me. And subhanAllah, Jannah is home, paradise is home. And the Prophet ﷺ, he even said when he was talking about the end of times, that we would go to our homes in paradise when we enter into Jannah, and we would know the way that we know our ways home now in this world. I mean, subhanAllah, you don't have to GPS your way home, or I hope you don't. You don't have to GPS your way to your palace in Jannah. Once you get in, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the people of Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you enjoyed and benefited from this video. If you did, then please do share it. And if you'd like to follow the rest of the series, then please do click on the top box. And if you'd like to see all of the other episodes and the other videos we have to offer, then please click on the box under that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content.